Here are my early SummerSlam 2026 match card predictions for Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's get into it. So up first, I have Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. Brock Lesnar is from Minnesota, so maybe this could be the event where Brock officially retires from WWE. This was hinted from John Cena during a recent interview, and we don't know if he was teasing or just kind of guessing, but it would kind of make sense since Brock is getting older, so he could officially hang up the boots. Brock went to the University of Minnesota, so there's a connection there. So it could be kind of the perfect spot for him to officially retire. We'll see on that, but either way, I see Brock being on this card. It would make sense for them to advertise him and for him to kind of be there with this being a two-night show. As for his opponent, I feel like it has to be Gunther, right? Like, if it is a retirement match, Brock Lesnar versus Gunther is a match that fans have been asking for. And then Gunther's also been retiring legends over the past few years. So this feels like it makes kind of too much sense. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see if Lesnar is actually retiring. But if it is happening, Brock Lesnar versus Gunther is my pick, with Gunther winning and adding another kind of big name to his list of people he's retired. Okay, so up next I have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. So I think we can assume Roman Reigns will be in a top match at this event. He's obviously one of the biggest stars in WWE, and I think you can pencil him in for probably a main event of either night one or night two. I think his opponent is going to be Seth Rollins. We know the history they have with one another, and I think their next big match should be saved for a big pay-per-view event like a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania. Um, Fans want to see this match again, especially with kind of how much both of their characters have grown and developed over the years. So I think that Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns could happen at this event, especially if one of them wins the world title over the next few months here. I think going in to SummerSlam, if one of them is holding the world championship, it would make sense for the other to kind of challenge them for that title. There's obviously the already built-in storyline, and I think it'd be a really good match. So I'm going with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins happening on this show. Up next, I have Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. As of recording this, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are aligned as a tag team. I actually don't see them as a long-term pairing, and I could see them splitting up at some point over the next several months. One of them is probably going to turn on the other, and once they do split, I see them having another big singles match, and I think WWE is going to save it for another big pay-per-view event, like a SummerSlam, WrestleMania, like I said about Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. I think WWE saving Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for kind of another big pay-per-view event just based on their in-ring chemistry. Io and Rhea have a ton of in-ring chemistry. They put on some classic matches, and I think they would put on another classic match together here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Io versus Rhea for one of the world titles at this event. I actually don't think a title needs to be involved if one of them betrays the other, and they can kind of get the storyline going. But either way, I'm going with Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky at this event. Up next, we have the match between Cody Rhodes and Braun Breaker. So Cody Rhodes will be on this show. My guess is he's gonna be in one of the world title matches at SummerSlam. I think that would make sense. The question, who's he gonna face? I'm gonna go with Braun Breaker right now. I think that this could be a really fun match, and I think that there's a really fun storyline here with obviously Braun and Cody's dads both being pro wrestling legends with Dusty Rhodes and Rick Steiner. So there's kind of a long-term storyline that the WWE can do in terms of that. The promos, they can talk about that and their history growing up in the business and all that stuff. I think that makes sense. And I think that Braun Breaker is going to be kind of moving up and up into the main events level in WWE over the next several months here. So I think it would make sense for him to challenge Cody Rhodes for his world title. If he's holding one at this point, we'll kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm going with Cody Rhodes versus Braun Breaker at this event. I think it could be a fun match. Up next, I have Tiffany Stratton versus Liv Morgan. So Tiffany Stratton is actually from Minnesota, so I think WWE will have her challenge for one of the women's championships at this event. She's usually around the title picture anyways, and the home state factor kind of makes it feel like a no-brainer that she's going to be in one of these kind of women's championship matches. That would make sense. It will depend on who is holding the women's titles at this point, if they do some sort of WWE draft and switch superstars on their different brands. But as of right now, I'm going to predict Tiffany Stratton versus Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan will be holding the women's championship at that point, and then Tiffany will challenge her. So that's kind of what I'm going with. Could be Jade Cargill, Could be Rhea Ripley. It could be something like that. But as of now, I'm going with Tiffany Stratton versus Liv Morgan. So yeah, those are my predictions for SummerSlam. We're still several months out, so I'm going to be doing another video as we get closer, but those are my kind of early match card predictions. Let me know yours in the comment section below. And please subscribe to this channel for more WWE content. Thanks a lot.